Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make butter cookies. These are a sweet and buttery cookie with wonderfully crisp edges, kind of like a sugar cookie, only not as sweet. And it's a really versatile cookie, which we will talk about later. But first, we're going to make the batter. So you will, if you're using a stand mixer like I am, use the paddle attachment, or you could just use a hand mixer in a large bowl. And first thing we need is 1 cup, that's 226 grams of butter. I'm using unsalted. I prefer the flavor, but you could use salted butter here. Have it at room temperature. And because this is a butter cookie, most of the flavor is coming from your butter. So try to use a good quality butter. And there's a lot of either domestic or foreign brands that you can use. And first, I'm just going to beat this just until it's nice and creamy and smooth. Okay. So just scrape down the sides of your bowl as you need to. And next, add 2/3 of a cup, that's about 135 grams of granulated white sugar. And I'm going to beat this on medium-high until it's nice and light and fluffy. That'll take a couple minutes. Okay. So this is what you're looking for. Just nice, get some air into the butter and sugar. So just scrape down the sides. And next we're going to beat in 1 large egg and have that at room temperature, along with 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And try to use the pure, it is a lot better flavor than the imitation ones. And then just beat that in until it's all mixed together. Okay. Now, if you like, you could flavor the dough with either a teaspoon of lemon zest, or even orange zest would be very nice. And that's just the outer skin of either the orange or the lemon. Don't get the white part, because that's bitter. So then for the flour, you will need 2 1/4 cups, which is 295 grams of white all-purpose flour. You may know that as plain flour. And just a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon. Now, if I was using salted butter, I would just leave that salt out. And then just whisk that in. And then just add the flour to the butter mixture. And we're just going to beat that in just until it forms a dough. As you can see, this is a pretty easy batter to whip up. Now start this on low speed because you don't want the flour to come up in your face. Okay, and we're done. Pretty easy. So now, there's a couple things you can do with a butter cookie dough. You could just gather it into a ball and chill it and then roll it out like you would like a sugar cookie or a shortbread cookie, and do cutout cookies. What I'm going to do here is form the dough into a log shape, and then we're going to do like slice and bake cookies. And the beauty of that is you don't have to bake all the cookies off at once. You could just, you know, if you only need 10 cookies, then you just do 10 at a time. And you also can freeze it unbaked and then just pull it out of the freezer and just slice off as many as you want that way too. So what I'm going to do is just divide this dough in half. Now, if you have a scale, which I like to use, you can just weigh it and then really get the exact half, but I mean, it's not that critical. So then, just take a piece of plastic wrap. Now you could form this into like a rectangle, square, or a round. I'm going to do the rectangle. So what you want is about 1.5 inches, which is about 4 centimeters high, which would be approximately 5 inches, about 12.5 centimeters in length. But just use your ruler, because you want about, the critical part is about 1.5 inches high. So whatever that is. And just, if you have one of these scrapers here, kind of really nice for getting those sharp edges. But like I said, it's not overly critical. Just, it's nice to have them all the same size, so you want the log. So. Okay, wrap it up. Now, if you're putting this in the refrigerator, you will need several hours, but what I really like to do is put it in overnight, so then it's really nice and firm. It makes it a lot easier to slice them off. So into the fridge. So now we'll bake our cookies. First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 180 degrees Celsius, and you need a baking sheet. You can line it with parchment paper, or you could lightly butter it or spray it with one of the nonstick sprays. And then make sure your log is nice and chilled, and then with the sharp knife, cut it into very thin slices, either 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, so 3 to 5 millimeters thick. The thinner they are, the more crisp they will be once they're baked, so just keep that in mind. If you want a little softer cookie, I would do it a little thicker. So if you want to just have a plain butter cookie, just bake them as it is. Or maybe if you want to frost them with a confectioner frosting, because I have a recipe with the butter cookies for a confectioner frosting. Or you might want to dip them in melted chocolate. But today I think what we'll do is we're going to sprinkle some with some chopped nuts. I've got some pecans here. You could use hazelnuts or walnuts or just almonds, whatever you like. And some other ones we'll just sprinkle with, you could either sprinkle with just granulated white sugar, but I'm using the colored sugars. The kids really like that. So first, just take one large, or one, just an egg white, and lightly beat it to break it up with just like a teaspoon of water. And we'll use this as a glaze so that either the nuts or the sugar will stick to the cookie. So, and then just take a pastry brush and just lightly brush the tops of your cookies. As you can see, I mean, this is a really versatile cookie dough. You can do so much with it. I like to dip sometimes half of the cookie in melted chocolate. It's really nice. Or the frosting. Kids really like a little bit of frosting and sprinkles on top, or they can even help you decorate if you want to do that. Or even here, They like to help you with sprinkling the sugar on. But like I said, if you don't, I didn't use the whole log, so what you could do is just put the rest of the dough back in the fridge or in the freezer and bake off later if you don't want them all. So then I'm just, Christmas you might want to use, red or green, or depending on the holiday. Girls will like the pink. Or if it's for adults, just use like a white sparkling sugar. That's really nice. The coarse ones give a real nice crunch to the cookie. And then what I really like is just the sprinkle on some chopped nuts. Just as many or as few as you want. Okay, so now you want to bake I like them baked, I like a fairly crisp butter cookie, so I bake them until the edges of the cookies are quite brown. If you would prefer a softer textured cookie, then just until they're lightly browned around the edges. So your baking time can vary depending on how thick you cut the cookies and how crisp you want it, but I would say somewhere around 10 to 14 minutes. Okay, our butter cookies are now done. As you can see, nicely browned around the edges. That's how I like them, nice and crisp. So just let them cool a bit and then transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. Now you can cover and store these at room temperature for probably a week, 2 weeks. They really last a long time. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.